Happy Foggy Friday, Oaklawn race fans, as we are back with another fantastic week of racing. And it was pretty good dark days. We had a little bit of rain, but nonetheless, we were very welcome to get some of those. But back in the saddle again today. Matt, we had a really good last weekend. I know it took several of us a few days to recover from it.
Yeah.
I've had people asking me, my thoughts on Sandman going into the Kentucky Derby, but I'm super excited that we are now represented this year in the Kentucky Derby with our Arkansas Derby winner. We did see a video of Sandman getting on the grounds at Churchill, and Mark Cassidy has said he's kind of a slow learner. He's kind of still putting it all together. That'd be a great way to really put it all together in the Kentucky Derby.
I think it would, and the fact of the matter is this horse is just getting better with experience and time. And I thought things sort of fell into his lap a little bit in the Arkansas Derby, and he's going to get a pace again in the Kentucky Derby. That's probably a guarantee, but he's going to love the mile and a quarter distance. And we actually not only have Sandman represented, but we're expecting Publisher, the maiden, ran second
that was
to go in
super
there.
impressive.
Very impressive, and he's just getting better as well. Cole Battle, he'll move on to the next stage. And also, let's not forget about Tistastic, who has run here a couple times, and he won the Louisiana Derby. So American Promise as well, another one.
Yeah,
so
we're very well. We could easily have
quarter of
maybe
the field.
a good maybe
half.
7-8 horses. Like Matt said, a good quarter of the field in the starting gate, and then Quiet Side in the Oaks. She'll be very well represented, and John Ed names all of his horses after places or people, and there was an article or barn notes that said it's after his vacation home on the other side of an island in Maine. The one side is the touristy loud side, and the other side is the quiet side. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's named after his vacation home, which I thought was very apropos. So she's looking to roar in the Kentucky Oaks, so hoping that certainly lives up. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. We did have mass amount of rain come throughout, and that is also expected, I believe, later in the day and also this evening. But the track looks fantastic. Kudos to our track maintenance crew as well. Currently listed as muddy. Winds out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. We're at 66 degrees. That is going to go up throughout the course of the day, and patches of fog throughout the region. Let's go ahead and segue into our news page. Did a little update, our top three in our respective divisions. Currently, Christian Torres still on top. He is not here today. He is at 48 wins. Rafael Bejarano is really, I think this is going to come down to closing day personally, Matt. Rafael Bejarano with 44. Francisco Arrieta right on his heels with 43. Not surprised to see Steve Asmussen still on top. 34 victories. Rambo Quet having a stellar meeting at 27. And Kenny McPeak rounding out the show spot in third with 23 wins. And Endzone Athletics currently in the lead with 10 victories in the owner standings. Ruiz Racing, very, very strong meeting with 9. And Steve Asmussen, owner, with 8. So I think all three of those could easily just go back to back. Also, Arkansas Breds featured this weekend. Saturday, ladies first in the Rainbow Miss Stakes, and Sunday, our Rainbow Stakes. And we want to not forget discount days. That will be on Sundays, April 6th, 13th, and 27th. There is no 20th because we will not be racing in observance of the Easter holiday. So discount days, free parking, excluding valet, dollar hot dogs, and free programs. And of course, out of the starting gate with our very own Matt Dinnerman.
Special guest Tammy Hornsby this week, Nancy. You can find that on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on all social media pages, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and, of course, YouTube. You can subscribe there. Tammy, of course, won the La Paterelle first off the claim with Rose Palace, and this week she has Caliente Star in the Rainbow Miss, a perfect 2 for 2. So one thing that I really enjoyed getting to know about Tammy is a little more about her operation, her family, some of the history of herself in the game, because we hear Steve, Kenny McPeak, we hear all these big guys, Brad Cox, but that's one of the fun things about getting an interview with somebody like Tammy, who's been here since the 90s. She's been in racing for decades, and she does a great job with the stock she gets.
Yes, she does.
So it was really good to get to know her, and we appreciate her taking the time. And we got to go back there, visit Rose Palace, and
nice.
pet some horses, and
Very
had a
cool.
good time.
Well, I'm going to continue on with the Dawn at Oaklawn Arky Bread flavor. I'm going to have trainer Ernie Witt and Burl McBride tomorrow morning, and we'll be doing that rain or shine. So hopefully you can still come on out and enjoy the barn tours. Let's go ahead and get started, Matt. We've got 10 races on the Friday program. This race number 1 kicks off the first leg of the early 50-cent pick 5. This is a maiden claiming of $35,000 for 3 and up, and they are going to sprint 6 furlongs. Did have some decent scratches out of this one, taking out numbers 1 and 2. 1 and 2 out of the Friday opener.
I'm trying to beat Good Lord number 7, who's the best horse on paper and the fastest, but does not run well on wet tracks, and that's a concern for me. So I went with Irish Whiskey, who's only run 1 time, was bet down to 5-2 in a maiden optional $75,000 claimer, is in for 35 today, a son of Catalina Cruiser. Ducked in sharply at the gap last time out. That's the 6 furlong shooting. Just never got involved and was not persevered with down the lane. I think the rider at that point just wrapped up by the quarter pole and didn't really ask this one to go on. Adds blinkers, gets Sammy Camacho Jr. for the first time. And I've watched this horse work out on Oaklawn.com, and he works like a horse with some ability if spotted in the right condition. And for 35, I like the aggressive drop, so I'm going to take Irish Whiskey on top.
I am going to go with Good Lord. This one campaigned by Steve Asmussen, meaning he owns it as well. Does get Eric in the irons. 3 tries over a wet surface. Does have a third, but I like the fact that Sire Lord Nelson is 19%. Does exit a closing second as the beaten favorite against 12-5. So is it going to take that step up? I like the fact that Steve has that level of confidence in this 4-year-old. So does exit a 78 last race buyer. That's the highest in the field. And 3 back was second. Was third 2 back versus maiden 30, so definitely can step up to today's level. And Steve also, he does well everywhere. He also does well first off the claim, batting at about 14%. Race number 2 is the first leg of the early 50-cent pick 4. This is a 20 starter, horses 4 and up that have started for $20,000 or less in 24-25, and they too are going to sprint 6 furlongs in distance.
Yes, they will. And here's one of the coolest horses in racing, Pain. 7-5 on the morning line after a 101 buyer speed figure effort. I don't even know if there's ever been a horse ever that has been 10 years old and gotten a speed figure that high. That would be an interesting statistic. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can expect him to necessarily run back to that, but we don't need him to in order to win. This horse can run well on a wet track. He's won on a wet track before. First off the claim for David Jacobson here. He's won 4 in a row, this horse, and just loves his job. So
and 10, like you said.
Yeah, pretty amazing. We need to do a feature on him at some point.
We should.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to try to actually beat Pain today.
Okay.
So,
right.
All horses, they can be, subjected to this horse does like the off go, but sometimes 4 in a row is hard enough to do, even 5. But I get that he is the one to beat. But I love the fact that Sitka, who breaks just to his inside, is a perfect 2 for 2 over a wet track. Not happy that this horse now does inherit the rail with the scratch of the number 1 Golden Luna, but both wins over an off track were victories. Does get some class relief after a third against tougher first level allowance company. So looks to kind of be right there, is speedy, but certainly doesn't have to have the lead. So I'm going to go with the number 2, Sitka, in the slight upset in race number 2. But Pain, how impressive. And David was shocked that he was the only one in for the horse. There was no shake, meaning more than one person, and they would have to do a blind draw to see who gets it. So he was very happy with his purchase, as he should be. Race number 3 is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, set to go 6 furlongs, non-winners of 2 for the claim price of $35,000. And as we take a look at the field of 8, really interesting group, Matt, and I think you and I on the same horse in here.
I think so for Steve Asmussen. Reclaim by Steve Asmussen. Whenever you see a trainer reclaim a horse, I don't care what percentage of wins they have, it's a positive sign, because you're not reclaiming a horse unless you like something about the horse. So the fact of the matter is this horse's reclaim was 4th last time out after dueling on the lead. This horse stalked the pace 2 starts ago at a 30-9-2 lifetime condition for Steve and ran 2nd and finished ahead of a next out winner who coincidentally accidentally beat Musical Prayer next time out. So I like the reclaim, and I think against this field, I think this mare is one of the faster mares in the race, and I think she stacks up.
Yeah, it does make the first go over and off track, but McLean's Music 19% over off surfaces.
Yeah.
And when Steve had this horse was second, he only had him for one start. Second as the beaten favorite, you kind of have to think that he's got maybe some unfinished business with this 5-year-old mare. So we'll see if Musical Prayer can get the job done with Keith Asmussen in the irons. Race number 4 is for 3-year-old fillies, maiden claiming 50,000, and they are going to go 1 mile utilizing that short stretch of the Oaklawn Mile Run, and no scratches or changes. And Matt, your top selection, I think I looked at this name all day the other day, and then it popped at me today.
Easy Tree 8.
An Easy Tree 8.
Yeah, I was reading the horse's name with a friend we were going over who I liked, and I said, I think it's Ez Triates, and and he goes,
that is with
try
a flair.
again.
I like that.
He goes, let's try again. Oh, Easy Tree 8.
I'm looking at the breeding. I'm thinking, how in the heck? And then it popped on me. I'm like, oh, give the horse an Easy Tree 8. Yeah.
Easy Tree 8.
You got to go an Easy Tree 8.
Yeah. First off, the claim for Rob Atras. Unfortunately, Easy Tree 8 has not been able to win as the favorite at low odds the last 2 races. On the turf, gets back to the dirt, has run in restricted maiden special weights on the dirt. Rob Atras, 18% for first off the claim. That's a good stat there. So I don't have a strong opinion. I think Carrie's Kiss number 4 is the one to beat off her last 2 races, but there is other pace in here, including Let's Go JoJo, who's been close in sprints. I would imagine with Cindy Murphy, who likes to get her horses into the race early, I would think she and Carrie's Kiss are going to go at it here. And Carrie's Kiss has not shown the ability to be able to stalk and run effectively. It's just run well on the lead with pressure, albeit, but I'm going to pick Easy Tree 8.
Easy Tree 8s for Matt. That's my second choice. I'm going to look to Carrie's Kiss for the victory. Isaac Castillo aboard for trainer Burl McBride. I look at this as almost like a Goldilocks horse, but the light bulb did really go on when stretching out to 2 turns. 2 back was second at 23-1 going over the mud. That was versus Maiden 30, and then stepped up a big step at that against Maiden 75 over a fast track to run second at just shy of 6-1. So very interesting, taking that sweet spot right in the middle where this filly looks to fit, and just kind of been knocking at the door. And that buyer 2 starts back 74 is the field's highest buyer in the group. So very interesting maiden event. As we move on to race number 5, this is a maiden claiming of $12,500. Arkansas breds represented at the $20,000 claim, and they are going to go 6 furlongs in distance. Did have a scratch of the 1A, but we still have, shockingly, Matt, a full field of 12 at Oaklawn.
Yes.
What about that?
We've never seen this before, haven't we? I am, Nancy, this is one of these races that you try to find a horse with decent form, because the ones that are prices, they don't have great form, and it's hard to really take a stand with them. I picked Queen Wilhelmina, who tried routing last time out, and it was not an effective experiment. Sat off the pace and just never got involved, was beaten almost 20 lengths. Back in for 20, but the key is cutting back in distance here. And this gal 2 starts ago only lost by a head for maiden 20. Now, here's the thing. She was in for a 12-5 condition, but we have a clause here that explains if Arkansas breds run against open in for maiden 12-5, they can run for a $20,000 tax. So that's why she's in for 20, but this is a maiden 12-5 race. But I like her. I think just last time crossed the race out, you're left with actually some okay runs on paper.
Well, I'm going to go for a Kentucky bred who should relish the off-going, sired by Midshipman, who definitely liked the off-go. 18% over wet tracks, has been improving in the last couple of starts, was third 2 back versus similar, and got a little bit closer last out, running second, beaten just a length and a quarter as the beaten favorite, also when putting the blinkers back on. So does get Tyler Bacon back in the irons, the now journeyman Tyler Bacon. And chapter and verse from the barn of Ingrid Mason. I like when horses are 4th, 3rd, 2nd, they're getting just that step closer to the winner's circle, and I think today could certainly be the day for the number 2 chapter and verse. Might be a biblical hunch play, if you will, maybe for Chaplain Rich and Chaplain Robbie.
I've been watching The Righteous Gemstones. That's
what a great show!
Yeah, that's if you're into comedy, make sure to watch that.
The casting in that is fantastic.
Isn't it? Walton Goggins is a gem.
Love
he's got a pretty great character.
I've only seen the first season. So
Okay.
I haven't moved on
Okay.
onto the second seasons, but just that family is the amount of dysfunction
Oh, for
is
sure.
absolutely hysterical.
For sure.
We're going to take a quick break here on the Friday edition of Oaklawn Today, and when we return, we'll pick it back up with race number 6.
Experience the excitement of horse racing with Oaklawn Anywhere. If you're an Arkansas resident, you can watch and wager on horse racing from around the globe, whether you're at home or on the go, with any smartphone, laptop, or tablet, anytime, anywhere. Download the free Oaklawn Anywhere app and register for a sign-up bonus. With access to past performances, live video, race replays, and expert handicapping data, you're always in the know with no subscription fees. Bet online anytime with Oaklawn Anywhere, exclusively available to Arkansans. Right, Max? Oaklawn Anywhere. Our season never ends. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Hey Oaklawn, you're just a swipe away from a prize. Every Friday and Sunday of live racing, you can insert your driver's license at the swipe stations located throughout the racing side. Just look for the blinking LED lights at each swipe station and follow the on-screen instructions for a successful swipe. 1 in 3 will win a random prize for free or discounted items, which will be redeemable at the racing gift shop and select concession stands. But that's not all you can win. You can win free race bets of $2, $5, or $10, redeemable at the mutual teller. Don't miss out on this opportunity to win exciting prizes at Oaklawn. Remember, you can't win if you don't swipe.
And they're off. Holland Ice on the inside, fighting hard. Tenacious is Holland Ice. Holland Ice finding more on the rail. Hush and Honey on the outside, still with the lead though. And Hush and Honey's gonna win it. Hush and Honey wins the Rainbow Miss. And a fist pump by Rafael Bejarano.
Well, ladies first on Saturday with the Rainbow Miss Stakes, and Sunday we will have the Rainbow Stakes for registered Arkansas breds in their divisions. So very excited to that Arkansas breds. I believe the Rainbow was maybe the 52nd running, which
years,
just
wow.
tells you how long we have been highlighting the breed here in Arkansas. So very excited for that particular race. Quite a few supplements in both of those, which is interesting. Race number 6, let's pick up where we left off. This is the first leg of the late 50-cent pick 5, and it's set as a restricted $10,000 claimer for 4 and up, either runners that have not won 3 or horses that have not won a race since August 4th. We do have a couple scratches of the 3 and the 14, which does allow the 13 Derby date to draw into the body of the field. And Matt, once again, you and I going with a little bit of a price and hoping we get it.
Yeah, we're going with Alto Road here, number 9. Comes off a 4th place finish at Remington Park for 20. First off the claim for Jonas Gibson, 21% first off the claim. That's a very good stat. In for 10,000. So dropping aggressively in this spot. And we saw Jonas last year run more horses here and do well with that aggressive
Stabled
drop.
here, yeah.
So I see that success with him. The only knock I have is this horse is 0 for 12 in 2024. That's the only knock I have.
You're knocking on the door with me as well. Yeah, a little bit concerned about that, but I love how well Jonas does off the claim. Also bringing horses off a bit of a freshening, fires at 22%. If you look way back on her form, she was actually stakes placed in the Advent Stakes. Here, it was contested over a muddy track that year when she was a 2-year-old. But yeah, I think the significant drop in class and condition could get her off to a great start of 2025 for her new connection. So yeah, I'm going to go with Alto Road with Francisco Arrieta in the irons as well.
This is the probably a race that I have the least strong opinion
Yeah.
on. I mean, Cowan number 7's the horse to beat, but this horse hasn't been seen in a year and was claimed for $62,000. Is in for $10,000 off a layoff.
Sometimes there's and it's interesting how you and I both, sometimes we might go towards one of those horses, but other times it's a semi red flag. So yeah, it's interesting how handicappers will decide what is something to lean towards and something to maybe back off of.
Right, and the thing is, look, we're going to be 100% transparent. HISA has changed the way trainers can drop horses
and enter
horses. So I think it protects the better a little bit in that respect. But at the same time, there's a reason a horse is in for $10,000.
Right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to race number 7. This is a race, Matt, I didn't have a super strong opinion on. This is for 3 and up. 12-5 claiming set to go a mile and a 16th. Arkansas breds in for 20, and a good chunk of the field was beaten double digits in their last start. So a lot of horses are hoping to show some improvement today.
Right, and it's just about, at this point, finding the right friends for whoever can run well in this race. And I think that Dr. Storm, number 7, can find his right friends. Did not break well last time, was wide on both turns, made a nice run down the lane to run second. And I think this time around he's going to be able to run well. Devil's Fork, who won that race, he's always been a good horse in the mornings. I've watched him work on Oaklawn.com, and he's always worked like a horse that can run a little bit, and he finally got it done over Dr. Storm. But I think this is the field Dr. Storm can come into to beat. And I think it's very interesting Randy Morse claims this horse. We don't see Randy claiming that often.
No,
so
you
this
don't.
is interesting.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm with Dr. Storm as well. He was wide around those turns because he drew the 11 of 12 going a mile and a 16th. Gets a more favorable draw today. And I think the kicker for this particular runner is to be his speediness out of the starting gate. He's gotten left. He's been away slow. He's kind of remained back. So hopefully he can be a little bit more attentive in the starting gate here today, and potentially Francisco Arrieta going to have a good day all around.
Yeah, and he's got all the momentum right now. I mean, if
does.
anybody's riding top in the room, it's him. I mean, he's riding great.
And that's one thing about it overflows not only to jockeys but trainers to the barns as well when they kind of get on a roll. It's just something about that momentum that just all things do have to come together, but when that momentum comes, it just keeps flowing, which is a good thing to see.
It's a totally mental thing, and it's the same thing in any sport. I mean, when I play baseball, if I wasn't hitting well, you really have to stay on course, because if you're not hitting well and you start overthinking things, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
So once you're in that rhythm and you're just on the right track and it's like you're making all those right moves, you feel like $1 million in the performance. It all just, it's like a spiral effect.
Yeah. And, I've had obviously had multiple bad days as a handicapper, and sometimes you kind of get in that lull and just sometimes just push away from it and then come back and just kind of do a reset, and it's amazing how often that can be effective. Race number 8, we did have several scratches out of this one. A non-winners of 3, $25,000 is the purchase price. It is for 3-year-olds and up, going a mile and a 16th in distance. Did have several scratches of numbers 1, 2, and 9. 1, 2, 9 out of race number 8. And I really hope you pronounce this one the way I do, Aaron.
Aaron. Now every time I see him on paper, I think I can hear your voice saying Aaron.
Oh God, that's probably not a good thing, Matt. I'm sorry.
Aaron. Aaron.
Aaron.
I sometimes if I don't know a pronunciation, I keep looking it up and I can't figure it out. I'll say it in 2 different ways during the race for 2 calls.
Oh,
and say,
I like
you
that.
You know what? I got it right at least.
Oh,
once.
I like that. Well, that's a good philosophy, I guess.
So Aaron or Aaron has not had the most luck with the winner's circle here at Oaklawn Park, but his last 2 races, I mean, he just hasn't had good trips, and it's just a matter of time before this horse gets a good trip and finds the winner's circle. So we're going to try again. He's by Speightstown, even though he's never run on a wet track before. The Speightstowns very much enjoy the wet
very
going.
much.
So I think that this horse here, off 2 bad trips, he's going to be ready to run well today, Nancy. And I like the fact that he ran third 2 starts ago to Hess, who has won 3 in a row, and he won a starter allowance on Arkansas Derby Day.
Yeah, Aaron's been very consistent the last couple of starts. I can't not say it the other way now. It's just in my dysfunctional brain. This is my long shot play of the day. Going to go with the number 7, Rebellious, from the barn of Sippy Contreras. Manny Escobar in the irons. Does have a win over the wet track, and that was actually the last time we saw Rebellious hit the winner's circle. It was over the local mud, and that was also his first race returning to Oaklawn after racing over the synthetic at Woodbine, and that was also when he graduated from the non-2 ranks, and it was at the $35,000 level. Likes to come from off the pace, so not concerned about this closer getting that kickback, because he can maybe steer around it, or some horses just dig in and just motor through it, but does get a little bit of class relief after a 4th. That was also first off the claim for the Contreras barn against tougher non-3 for 40 going the mile. So we'll see if Rebellious can be the rebel that he is.
I like this pick, Nancy.
We shall see.
He likes the wet track.
He
too.
does.
He ran a very good race on a wet track. So he was my 3rd pick. I even sort of contemplated putting him on top. So I
that
think
makes
you're
me
on
feel
to
more
something
confident.
here.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you're on to something here, Nancy.
Maybe. Race number 9 is our feature on the Friday program. It is for Arkansas bred first level allowance fillies and mares, and they'll sprint 6 furlongs. Just scratches of the 1, 4, and 11. 1, 4, 11 out of this one. And Matt, I think you and I are right next to each other in the starting gate.
Okay, well, it's going to be a head-and-head battle here between, I'm imagining, Appealing Addie and Queen Mallard. And Queen Mallard is my top pick in here. Her first race, she needed it. Second race, she ran 3rd and had a horrendous trip. And then since then, she's just run a good race every time. And she makes her second start off a 2.5-month break here for trainer Ron Moquette. This runner was second best last time out at an allowance condition, this type of level. Behind, she's a dreamer who we're going to see in the Rainbow Miss and is 3-1 on the morning line there. So Queen Mallard in against what I think is a field that she can handle here, and she's going to be my pick. I think she will run very sharply today. I think she will as well. Appealing Addie does exit a big race, and last contested runners in the Down the Dusty Road was well beaten 3rd to Holland Ice, and that name should definitely sound familiar, as Holland Ice was victorious in the Matron just this past weekend against Open Company. So very, very impressive Arkansas bred, who is the 2024 Arkansas bred horse of the year. If you look 2 starts back, going a mile was second versus this same level, and 3 back was a well-beaten second over the mud sprinting. So kind of getting right there. So I think Matt and I are going to be gunning down the lane for the winner's circles. For somebody, ultimately, will be ringing that bell. I hope so.
Yes.
And we saw just a ton of participation for the Ring the Bell.
Yes, we did.
And we also had 3 sponsors every day of
Every day.
Racing Festival of the South. So thank you to them.
And we've also, I'm on the board of the Arkansas Thoroughbred Retirement and Rehab Foundation, and get text messages often from very, very generous donors. We had a donor give $4,000 just this past week. So we are definitely very appreciative, because it's our responsibility to provide that aftercare for the horses. Even if a horse needs 6 months off, we are responsible for giving the horse the proper care that they do need to rehab fully so that they can find their forever home. So thank you to all of our generous sponsors throughout the course of the meeting as well. Our 10th and final is a Arkansas bred 3 and up, maiden claiming $30,000, and they will go 6 furlongs to close out the Friday 10 race card, and a full field of 12 with just scratches of the also eligibles.
Yep, and this is a race where I think you can find a little bit of a price here. I'm going to take low on funds with an improving pattern. Didn't have a great trip, but just didn't run very well first time out. Came back also on a sloppy surface. This runner has run twice on a wet track, so has plenty of form on the wet going, and ran 4th last time out. Sat off the pace, made up a little bit of ground, and was 4th best. Here's an angle that handicappers use to look for a price too. First time out doesn't run great. Second time out improves, and maybe improves greatly in the case of this one here. And then 3rd time out, they really put it all together. 3rd start in the form cycle. That is an angle that is a very old school angle that has worked many times, and I found prices doing this. So I said, what the heck, 8-1, low on funds, hoping to give me some funds.
Yeah, no kidding.
To sort of pad that bankroll for tomorrow
like
into
it.
the Rainbow Miss and Rainbow Stakes.
I actually scratched into my top choice. Originally was on the AEs, did not draw in. So now I'm going to land on the number 6, Bradford, who is kind of pushing on professional maiden status, is making the 11th career start. This one owned and trained by Steve Asmussen. And Keith will be in the irons. Exits a fourth, a hard closing fourth, beaten just over 2 lengths for the victory. So exits the same last out as Get Away With It, who was the runner-up in that specific race. Does test the off-go for the 5th career time. One of those did produce a 3rd place effort. So Bradford, I'm going to round out with race number 10 on top. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes, and Bradford, he's 0 for 10. So
Yes.
he is one that he's come close a couple times.
He's getting there. He's just getting there.
Maybe today's the day.
Maybe today is the day. So Matt is going to give you all the set of changes in just a bit. But first, we're not done. We've got to show you our $20 show bet bonus parlay ticket and our long shot and top pick of the day, which is sponsored by Oaklawn Anywhere.
Look at those 7s. Oh,
I
my
did
goodness.
that on purpose. Races
Wow.
1, 7, 8, 9. I'm rolling with the 7s. We'll see how that either just bites me in the tuchus or it actually works out. Race 5, Matt starts out with Queen Wilhelmina, Dr. Storm, Aaron, then Queen Mallard for the Moquette Barn. Low on funds is Matt's long shot play of the day, race 10, number 10. And I'm going to go with Rebellious in race 8 for the Barn of Sippy Contreras. Pain is Matt's top pick, sponsored by Oaklawn Anywhere. He is looking for his 5th consecutive win. Impressive all day. Well, I go with Randy Morris's, could be a hunch play, Dr. Storm in the 7th. It sounds like
Very
an
good
evil
point.
Marvel character that just
Yeah.
brings the storm and the lightning and the thunder. So,
Which we
is there a
saw
Dr.
plenty
Storm?
of.
I
don't
like
know.
Marvel
I'm
and all
not
those.
a huge Marvel
but
guy.
I mean, I
I've
watch
watched a
them.
couple of
Yeah, I
movies.
watch them, but I can't remember with all the
You know what?
Captain Americas.
There
in
might
it.
be a Dr. Storm.
It sounds like it'd be a good evil villain.
No, I'm thinking of a movie that came out a couple years ago, Marvel-wise.
Keep talking.
Dr. Storm. The Marvel movies are great if you want to watch them, but there's also a sort of a sequence to some of them. So, Nancy, just a reminder.
Franklin Storm was a comic book character.
Yeah.
Species human. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So yeah, so Franklin Storm, we're gonna
Dr.
is part of the
Storm.
is part of the
Franklin
he's
Storm?
part of the Fantastic Four. Dr. Franklin Storm.
The Fantastic Four.
There we go.
There we go.
See, Google is an amazing tool.
Yeah.
Sometimes scary.
Yeah, because
but-
the internet's right 100% of the time, right? But in this case, I'm sure
only.
it is.
Oh my
I'm sure it
God.
is. Do you watch movies, Nancy? You like
I'm
movies?
I'm movie obsessed. I have no problem sitting and binging a full series in one sitting. We actually binged the 3rd season of Reacher last
Okay.
night, which
Okay,
was
I've heard of it.
fantastic. So yeah, and plus Reacher's easy on the eyes, so that makes it that much easier to watch.
It was about 8 o'clock a couple nights ago, and you heard the thunder and the lightning and
Yes.
the rain. And I said, why don't I watch a scary movie under my blanket here?
Oh,
so
I
I
love
watched
it.
Long Legs.
Ooh, what's that?
It's about
Spiders.
no,
Oh.
no, a lot worse. Unfortunately, it's about a Nicolas Cage plays this killer, and it's about the detective who tries to find this
Okay.
killer, and they have a connection, and won't spoil it.
Ooh,
It
sounds
had
good.
very high Rotten Tomatoes
Was
rating.
it suspenseful?
Very suspenseful.
Okay, did you
and
have to
very
do this
creepy.
every once
it
in a
wasn't
while?
like a jump type of thing.
Like a
It-
suspense type thing.
Like very thriller.
Oh, I love those.
Not like horror, more thriller, but it was very
and
good.
Long Legs.
Long Legs is the name.
I'll
of the
have to
movie.
watch that one time. Paul is not a fan of scary movies or anything like that, so I'm.
I would say it would not scary, but extremely creepy.
Ooh, yeah, he's
But
not
not
gonna
like
be able to watch
horror, like oh, there's a ghost.
Yeah,
yeah.
that. Ooh.
Yeah. yeah.
All right, now that we've covered all of our Rotten Tomatoes picks here on the Friday edition of Oaklawn Today, Matt's going to head up to the roof to give you the full set of scratches and changes, and you will see me throughout the paddock throughout the course of the day. Stay dry, and don't forget tomorrow, Dawn at Oaklawn, and take a listen to Out of the Starting Gate podcast with our very own Matt Dinnerman. Without further ado, this is our Friday edition of Oaklawn Today. Good luck on the 10 race card.
1, 2, testing 1, 2. In the place to be.